All right, YouTube, how we doing? Today's a new day, and in this particular episode, we're going to talk about how to get your animals overseas or across the country in an airplane. Now, you may think that that's easy. You put them on your seat next to you, and you put your seatbelt on, and they fly. Not exactly. There's actually quite a bit that goes involved in it. So, what we're going to do is we have a guest speaker today, and she is going to tell us basics on what we have to do, and then we're going to show you how to get your cage from this, which is a basic setup, to this. All right, so here we go. Hello.
Hello. So, cages that you buy at the pet store come in your basic model, which is great for regular traveling, but when traveling specifically overseas, but even domestic flights, there's a lot of requirements that go into it. You can't, the smaller animals like my cats that we'll be taking, you have to cover up the entrances so that they can't put their paws through or their arms in case of injury. You have to have a food and water dish attached on the inside, as well as a way from the outside to put food or water in the dish so that they don't have to open the door. For international flights, the crate has to have ventilation on all four sides. And they also, for flights, have to have metal bolts and screws securing the crates together because they're two separate pieces when they come. When we got these off Amazon, they came with bolts and screws, but they were plastic. And if we had dropped them off at the airport with plastic bolts and screws, they would have gotten denied. So we had to get new bolts and screws to put in there. What else?
What are the holes in the top for?
They have holes drilled in the top that I guess once we get into the airport they're going to secure, put zip ties or something through to secure the door so that it won't pop open. I do believe that it's also a security thing, so if the pets arrive at their destination and the ties have been tampered with, it's a sign that someone opened the crate before they were supposed to. The cat crates that we have do have spots for tie downs on the edge, on the sides as well. The dog crate doesn't. I don't know if it's mandatory for them to have them or not.
So what we were thinking about doing is drilling some holes in there to have the tie downs. This way they are capable of being tied down. The dog crate may be different than the cat crates.
Yeah, dog crate definitely doesn't take as much preparation as the cat crates because a dog's paw isn't going to be able to fit through these. On the other, but with cats, obviously they're smaller, so their paws can fit through the openings a little easier. So dog crate, all we had to do was attach the food and water bowl and the funnel, and she's pretty much good to go.
So looking at the size of you and the size of this crate, okay, are you like shipping a dragon? Why is this crate so big?
So airlines require that your animal have 3 inches of space from its head to the top of the crate while seated. So my dog is not this big, but she was the exact dimension of her head hitting the top of the crate for the size below this. So because she would have, her head would have touched the top of the crate, we had to size up, which got us a crate for a dragon. They have to have 3 inches of space above their head while seated, and then also 3 inches of space from when they're standing at the front of the crate. They have to have 3 inches of space pretty much all the way around. They need to be able to turn around without touching the crate, and just have lots of room to settle down and settle in for a long flight.
Okay, and then is that the same with the cat crates too?
Yes, this is the smallest crate that you can get that is airline approved. So you can get smaller crates like the ones that you would take your cat to the vet in, but those crates would be too small and also not airline approved. So this is the smallest size crate you can get to ship your pets. I have one cat that this crate he'll fit in perfectly because he's gigantor. And then my 3 other cats, they'll have plenty of space in them. My one cat specifically is very small, and I inquired about if I need to get a smaller crate for him, because you would think too much space would be a bad thing because they have more room to rock around and stuff. But I was told that it doesn't, they prefer it to be bigger versus smaller, and that the size we have is the smallest we could go. So we got 4 crates, all the same size for the cats, and then gigantor.
And then obviously you can't put 2 animals in one cage. They have to be single.
Correct. They all have to be separate. There is, I guess, a rule where if the animal is 16 weeks or younger, I believe it is, that they can share a crate, mainly for the purpose of if it's a mother traveling with her babies, that they could all go in the same crate.
Wow,
But all of mine are too old, so they will all be getting their own crate, which is sad but understandable.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to prep your crate. This one crate here is out of the box, so we did not prep it yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the camera over. Okay, standard basic crate. All right. Okay. And just to recap, what was said is that there are holes up in the top, okay, for the safety, whatever they're going to do to secure it, for either so the door doesn't open or for security reasons of it wasn't tampered with. There's 2 on the bottom. They require this, and they require metal nuts and bolts. Let me show you what the cage comes with. This is what the cage comes with. Every one of these cages comes with this. Now what's really interesting is that when these cages were bought, they were bought specifically for airline flight. These cages, like it was said, they are
Airline approved.
They're bought on Amazon and they're airline approved. However, if you go to the airline's website, like for instance, these guys, they went to using American Airlines, and they on their website it says you need to have this, that, and the other thing. And I'll take a picture of what the cage is required to have, and I'll put it in the video, probably right about this area here, so you can actually see this is what's required. We're also going to put links into the shipper that they used to ship. Okay, you can't just take your pets and throw them on the airplane. That doesn't work. You need a shipper to do that. Okay.
So the country that we're moving to and shipping our pets to, you are required to have what's called a pet broker, and that is a person on the other end at your destination who basically shows up and handles paperwork, customs. In our case, the package that we bought from them, they will also be delivering our pets to the house for us, so we don't have to worry about transportation from the airport to the house. And they also have helped along the way with inquiries about cages, all the paperwork that we're going to need, and checking all the paperwork once we get it, because there is a lot of paperwork that goes into shipping your pets overseas. So some countries require brokers, some don't, but the country we're moving to does. Throw that in there for you.
So, like I said, with this here, these are not usable. So, we're not going to use those. Now, what we did was we got wire mesh. This is 1/2 inch square wire mesh. Okay, and I actually painted these black so it matches and looks pretty and professional.
Can't even tell it's there.
All right, you don't have to do this. I just did. Okay, but so what? These are half-inch holes. Okay, and you can buy this at your local, supply store, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever, Tractor Supply, whatever place you have, doesn't matter. But I made these exactly the same size as the side cages, the side screens, because again, if you have a kitty, your kitty can put his hand through here. Okay, his paw can come through here, and depending upon how they get packed, okay, if they're really packed in like this, they can reach out and possibly hurt themselves. So that's why they require that the carry cage, the animal cannot put their hands up. So here's what we did. Very quick, very simple. Okay. And that's all you have to do is put this on like this. And there's a spider doing there. And then you can just wire tie this up. Alright. So put this up like this so I can look at it better. Now, one of the things that I did when I did this is I made sure that this tab is facing in, so nothing sticks out and can get hung up on anything. Okay, depending upon how they pack them, move them, what have you. Come on. Yes, it's a little tough. Okay. This wasn't that hard. Jeez.
It's just because you're filming.
All right, so when this gets put on here, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be on the fourth one. Okay. And you zip this down like this. It folds in like that. Okay, so it's not sticking out anywhere. Actually, just it folds in. You can push it in. Okay, and it's not sticking out here. Okay. Yeah, because look at this. I'm going to fast forward. Alright, so instead of you watching this and get bored out of your mind, we're just going to fast forward this and you can just watch and see what I do. But basically, just shove this under here. It's quite simple. And it comes up through the mesh. And again, these are just wire ties. And just pull it down like that. Okay, and then that will stay in there, out of reach. And you do this.
Yeah, so the
Pretty interesting.
at the front of the crate, see the holes on top of the crate? They're gonna put ties through them. And I think they're there to make sure that the door can't open, but I'm pretty sure too, because I've heard people talk about when, like, going to pick up their pet and the ties are cut, or the ties aren't cut, but their pet had to stay overnight, which means that their pet wasn't let out of their crate.
What I did, just wire tied it up. So now the mesh is on there on both sides. And this part of our pet carrier is ready to go. So now let's do the door. Okay, and we'll show you what we did with the door. Okay. Now this mesh, this is 1/4 inch hole mesh. Now the reason why we went with this is because this is the door. Yes, the animal, is still going to sit there, and they're going to, they're going to come over here, but they're really not going to get crazy. This is where they're really, because this is the biggest opening, so the animal's really going to be looking through here 90% of the time. So because we're putting their water bowls in here, we want to make sure that the animal does not get their paws out of this area here, because they're going to spend a lot of time right here trying to figure out what's going on, where they are, not so much on the sides. So that's why we went with the smaller mesh on the front. And again, standard appliance store, utility store, hardware store, that's the word I was looking for. You can get the mesh. And then we're just going to cut it out a little bit bigger, and then we'll cut it to the size of the cage. Come back here. So tell us, is there anything else that you learned about from the airlines?
The food and water dish will only be used if the pet is in the crate for more than, I believe it's 24 hours. Again, pets under a certain age are required to get food and water sooner, but since my pets are considered full grown, they'll only be given water if they're in the crate for longer than 24 hours, but there is a precaution in case something happens and they get delayed. They will also be sent with a bag of their food attached to the top of their crate, and if they're in the crate for an excessive amount of time, then they'll be given the food. But 24 hours is when they will get food and water. What else?
What are the benefits of a shipper over taking them yourselves?
Well, so again, we had to hire a pet shipper, also known as a pet broker, because the country we're traveling to requires a pet broker. But traveling domestically or even to other countries that don't require them, it's just basically peace of mind. You send them every bit of paperwork you have to get, and they check it and verify that everything's in order. I mean, they do this, it's their job. They do it every day, so they know exactly what to look for. Questions that you might have as far as like airline requirements, because they work with all these airlines on a daily basis, so they know each airline has different requirements and standards for things, so they know each airline's specific needs and wants. And then for us, because we did get, I guess what you would call the bigger package for, yeah, we're bougie. They'll deliver our pets to the door, which is nice, because with 5 animals, trying to fit all of them into a little tiny foreign car might not have worked out very well. We probably would have only gotten the dog crate in.
There you go. Alright, so basically what I'm doing is I just made it bigger than the screen. Well, I did line up these two, so it's less to cut. Okay, these two edges. And then I'm just going to go and do exactly what I did to the other ones. And just around the screen. And then what I'm going to do is cut that off. But I also look at it like this: better to be safe than sorry. So is this overkill? Perhaps, maybe. But I'd rather have my animal safe than have something go wrong and they get hurt.
Or showing up at the airport and them saying it's not secure enough. Because there are stories of people who show up thinking they have the crate perfectly airline ready, and they get nitpicky. So
okay, and I just gotta carefully cut the edge here. So carefully we're gonna be. So now, probably going. Well, what about the sharp edge? Because we did this on the inside, we're going to wrap the sharp edge around like that, so it goes around. And I'm just using the round part of this needle nose, so it wraps around like this. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take tape. Now, you can use any type of tape. Originally I was used black tape, but I ran out. So those of you that have OCD like I do, yes, this is freaking me out because it's not black, it doesn't match.
It's a sore subject.
Yes. It's pretty expensive. So this is added protection, and this is just gray electrical tape. And I'm going to run this around twice. Okay? No, it doesn't look pretty, but it protects the animal from getting hurt on the edge. And I am stretching it as I go around. And the reason why is so the tape sticks to itself. If it gets hot in the airplane, this won't come apart. Okay. And I stopped on the bottom. You can stop wherever you like. I just stopped on the bottom. Okay. And then just go over it like that, here and there. And then that will protect the animal from getting cut or hurt. Okay, so the mesh is folded in like this, so the animal can't get hurt because the mesh is folded in this way. All right, to the outside, because this is the inside of the cage, and this is the outside of the cage. So any wire that comes through will be facing this way, away from the animal. Where are the wire ties?
Do you want the dish and the funnel?
Yep. Alright, and I'm just doing 4 more wire ties right in the middle. Just, you know, I mean, it's fine, but I want to be safe and secure than sorry. Opens upstairs.
It'll also help if the cats decide to grab onto the mesh. It won't move around as much either with those extra wire ties in the mill.
Right.
Oh.
What I've done is I've cut holes for where, whoops, for where the water bowl is supposed to go. Okay. Alright, and we need one more hole. I'm going to put that one here, and that is for the water funnel. And you don't need to go to the store, to the pet store, and buy a water funnel.
No.
This is a regular auto parts store funnel, and it works great. Okay. Just like that. And then we'll just put this in through here. Maybe. Come on. No, that's not gonna work. We gotta go this way first. And we go this way. So, one. Like so. Pull this through here. And use this to hold this down. Hello. Like that. And then we'll need 2 guys to go this way. Okay. And now I want to put this underneath this lip. Because if this breaks, then this will also secure it. Water bowl is good. This may look like it's crushed, but it's not. Water will fit through there. You can see the light going through. So, there we have it. Now, we grab our cage, and we have to use metal screws. We can't use the plastic ones that they sent with us. So, you're going to have to go to the store and buy some screws. Best way to buy screws is buy them by the pound, because it's a lot cheaper. Yes, you may not need them all. You can throw them out when you're done. But, or if money's no object, just go buy yourself some screws. But, so the door is going to go in here like this. And go in here like this. And then it closes. Like so. Ready? It's actually not it. This is not in. So you have to make sure that when you put this together, it fits. Okay. There we go. Now, you don't need to get what we got. I just happen to grab the screws. Well, one thing that I did do is I have washers. So I have washers from underneath and washers to go on top. Down in there. Okay. How do you give me a hard time? All right. Because this is plastic, I don't want the screw to rip through the plastic itself. So I put a washer underneath also, and then I put a lock nut. Because I don't want the nuts to fall out from vibration in the airplane, because I want to make sure my kitties get there safely. So you may say that's a little crazy overkill. Yes, maybe, but again, better to be safe than sorry. And there you have it, ready to fly. Okay, so like I said, we'll leave links in the comments below. If you like what you see, like, subscribe. We have all kinds of interesting things that happen here, whether it be for cars, for traveling animals. Okay, we appreciate that. We really appreciate all your help in that area. All right, this project's done.